Hi there, it's Sam from pootles.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today's project is this one, and it's this darling little box. I'm calling it my Happy Day Pastel box, and it's a cute little box that opens up like that. You can fit a few little treats and sweets in there. I did test this out when I was making my swaps for the incentive trip. I had a couple of sweeties left over, and yes, you can fit a couple of lollipops in. The flat ones, you wouldn't fit the big, big ball-shaped ones. But the finished dimensions of this is 3/4 of an inch by 2 inches by 4 inches, which is 2 centimetres by 5 centimetres by 10 centimetres, so great size. And you can get 2 from a sheet of cardstock because your piece of cardstock measures 6 1/4 by 5.5 centimetres, which is 14 by 16 centimetres. So 2 off the length, and you'd have a little bit left over on one side. So, okay, on the long side, we're going to score it at 3/4 of an inch. 2 3/4, 3.5 and 5.5 inches, which in metric is 2, 7, 9 and 14. Turn it round and score it at 3/4 of an inch and at 4 3/4 of an inch, which is 2 and 12 centimetres. Okay, so we're going to burnish these score lines. And burnish them well, because this is a small box and nice, good quality, very good quality cardstock. So it's going to need you to show it who's boss a little bit more than normal. Okay, so when you hold it in this fashion, so you've got 2 score lines and then you've got 4 going up, we're going to cut all of these squares and we're just going to wedge in ever so very slightly. It's worth taking the time on this so that you get a really nice finish to the edge. What you don't want is sort of, well, there's a fine line between handmade and homemade, and you don't want bits of excess cardstock sticking up, which you might get if you didn't miter these little edges. So it's worth taking, well, literally seconds. I'm concentrating on what I'm doing. I'm not looking at looking at my camera monitor, so I don't know how long it's going to take me. Maybe a minute extra to do this. But so worth it. There we go. Okay. Now, I'm not going to put the box together yet because I want to put the top on, the stamped part on it first. So what I've got here, I've got 2 pieces of cardstock. My Whisper White, 1 3/4 by 3 3/4, so 4.5 by 9.5 centimetres. And this one is 1.5 by 3.5 inches, so 4 by 9, and they nest over beautifully and then sit on the top prettily. And what I want to do is this tone-on-tone stamping. Now, when you stamp with an ink colour onto the ink, onto a cardstock that's the same colour, it deepens the colour, whereas if I put it onto white it would stay the same. Very clever. The Mint Macaron, Bloomin' Love, and I'm going to use a couple of these stamps. Which one shall I go with? I'm going to go with that one and that one, yes, the same as I did before, and then this little one. So that's that one. I'm going to get this, oh, you know what, I will stamp and clean. So you get this darker tone on tone. I've got my Stampin scrub just off to one side, so I'm cleaning and stamping. And the smaller one, I'm going to and then I'm going to take a bigger one of that same shaped flower. Just off to one side there. I've probably left no room for these tiny little, I don't know, tulip shaped flowers. I hope there's enough room that I can fit them on. Just about. Maybe a third up here on this corner. There we go. Just fill the gaps really. And then while I have got this out, or rather while I've got the mint macaron, I couldn't think of the name of it. I've got a scrap of Whisper White here, and I've got a new stamp set here called Thoughtful Banners. I want this pattern down here at the bottom. So I'm going to get this on a block. Stamp that. Let's give that a clean up. And then here's a really clever tip I learned. This stamp set is brilliant. It's got loads of words. It's photopolymer. I'm looking for the Oh Happy Day, which is up at the top. Now here's the tip. Photopolymer stamps are bendy. So I'm putting my block over the image that I've just stamped, and I'm going to bend my Oh Happy Day until it fits. Now, let me see if I can do this without headbutting the camera or knocking it off view. So I think I've got that bent about right. Can you see that? I've bent it there. Oh, wrong ink set. I want Sahara Sand, which I forgot to get out. There it is. If I have done this right, I can get my, oh, well, that's kind of, but we'll blame it on the fact that I can't really see what I'm doing. That will fit and curve. How clever is that? We love it. And there are so many words. How many is it? 53. Goodness me. 53 stamps in this set. Oh, I'm glad it's photopolymer and I don't have to prep them all. And then finally, we've got our new dual banner punch. So obviously this one fits that one, this one fits the bottom one. I like the bottom one. So we're going to go with that one. And oh, I got myself the top one as well. Marvellous. And then snell this to this. Throw my fuse around. And now we can start putting the box together. And it's at this point that you determine which is the top and the bottom. Let me just move these out of the way. So at the moment they're equidistant, they're exactly the same. Whichever one you stick it down to becomes the top. So that's going to go on there. I want to punch a little hole there, so I'm just grabbing, this is a 3/4 inch circle punch, and just, well, I suppose about a third of the circle, not even half. And now we can start putting it together. So these 6 panels, I'm going to put fuse on these, or your adhesive of choice, whatever you like to use. I like fuse because I'm a speedy girl. I appear to have a gummed up fuse. So all 6 of those panels. So we're going to put the base of the box together. So this is not where the panel is, it's the one away from it. So get your loose edge to match up to your scored line. And the one in the middle of those 6 squares will go in there as well. So that's the bottom of the box done. So we can put the lid part together now. I've got a little wispy there. I've got one there as well. Oh, this is no good. There we go. So close up the box and just finish it off now. So I've got the metallic thread, which I hope you can see. I'm just kind of looping it. Let me get rid of that bit. So I've made 3 loops, which hopefully you can see. Oh, I've got to put, I've got my hands all over the place today. If I put a dimensional on each end, take the backing off this one, sort of anchor it down, and then grab the other 3 loops and stick it all, kind of just grab it and mangle it basically. There's no scientific rhythm or method, you're making a whimsical design. It's okay to be messy. It's not meant to be perfect. And stick it on. Oh, happy day! I've made it. Anyway, thank you ever so much for joining me. Do have a look at the thoughtful banners. What a brilliantly genius, clever thing to do to make your stamps bend. Love it. But I hope you like the box too. Anyway, thank you ever so much for joining me, and I hope to speak to you soon. Bye.